In May 2020, a lot of consumers were surprised because of the sudden jump in power bills that month, amid the strict lockdown in Metro Manila and other parts of the Philippines because of the coronavirus pandemic. It was incredible that power consumption would increase 3 or 4 times in just a month, according to consumer groups. This in spite of several power outages during the quarantine in April and May. Meralco, the country's biggest power utility, had billed customers based on the past 3 months' daily consumption, following government's guidelines, because meter reading could not be done due to the lockdown. They also blamed the bill surge to the increased consumption during the quarantine. But high electricity rates have been a burden for Filipinos long before the pandemic. If you would compare our electricity bills to our neighbors in Southeast Asia, this is where we are. It is among the highest at around 9 pesos per kilowatt hour. But the Philippines could see its power rates go down if we transition to a low-carbon, renewables-based energy sector. But how? We can better understand this by talking about energy transition.
Energy transition in general is the situation when a new source of energy, in our particular case, renewable energy, becomes cheaper than the conventional way of producing electricity.
He is Bert Dalusong, an energy policy expert.
Right now, because of the falling prices of solar, wind, even other new technologies, like floating solar, offshore wind, because of all of the technical developments, these sources are now more competitive.
The Philippines is blessed with abundant water, sun, and wind. These are renewable energy sources, meaning they are continually replenished by nature, but we do not utilize it. According to the Department of Energy's 2019 Power Situation Report, renewable energy was only 1/5 of the energy we used. And with the entry of new coal power plants, fossil fuel use actually increased to 79.2% from 76.6% in 2018. But carbon dioxide that is emitted when we burn fossil fuels accounts for most of the world's greenhouse gas emission. It is the main culprit behind climate change. Heavy reliance on imported fossil fuels is one of the reasons why we have high power rates in the country. But listen to this. According to experts, renewables may cut Philippines' electricity rates by 30%, meaning your 1,000 pesos monthly bill will be slashed to just 700 pesos per month. To achieve this, renewable energy projects have to be accessible and affordable.
Mayaman tayo sa resources na ito. And if we can just make it happen, hindi na natin kailangang umasa sa ibang mga bansa for our fuel source because we could generate our own.
This pandemic has highlighted the need for more renewable energy options and alternatives for ordinary Filipino. We talked to Melvin Porzuelo of Iloilo City about it.
Sa Iloilo ngayon, siyempre ang problema natin yung kawalan ng hanap buhay. Dahil sa hindi makakalabas. Marami ngayon ng talagang nawalan ng income. So kung mayroon tayong mga disinfectant na gumagamit ng solar energy, pwede natin magagamit yan sa mga communities. Ma-address natin yung sa education natin ngayon, kailangan natin ng energy dahil naka-online na halos lahat. Dapat may mga gadgets tayo, yung mga bata. So kailangan natin if possible, kung pwede lang yung mga communities mismo, magpo-produce ng kanila renewable energy.
But the residents of Iloilo City have no option. They have to rely on the outdated energy system in their community for electricity.
Iloilo City kasi napaka-significant ng transition. Maski wala pa yung COVID, although na-aggravate na ngayon. Kasi ang city, practically 100% dependent to sa fossil fuel. Although 12 years ago, yung mga stakeholders ng region, nagkaroon na ng declaration na mag-shift towards renewable energy, 100%.
A report by the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis says that long-term contracts with large-scale fossil fuel facilities has led to inflexibility of the power system in the Philippines. Inflexibility means that some power plants do not utilize alternative energy sources because it is very hard to do it in the current system. This is Panay Electric Company or PECO, Iloilo City's electric utility. They signed a power purchase agreement with its power supplier, the Panay Energy Development Corporation or PEDC. This means that there is a minimum guaranteed electricity quantity that PECO has to purchase from PEDC. But as the operations of commercial and industrial establishments slowed due to the lockdown and the transition of some shopping malls to using solar energy system, the contracted capacity of PECO was not fully utilized. Parts of the unutilized generated power cost was shouldered by Iloilo City residents because of the pass-through clause in their electricity contract. Automatic pass-through means that whenever the cost of fuels such as coal goes up in the world market, power producers and distributors could simply pass this higher cost on to consumers instead of looking for cheaper alternative power sources. This is the case of the power market not just in Iloilo City but the whole country.
So hindi nagagamit ngayon itong coal, pero babayaran pa rin ng consumers. Babayaran ngayon yan ng mga poor consumers na hindi makakapagtayo ng kanilang solar. Yun yung problema natin na maski mag-transition tayo, dapat kasabay din doon yung revision ng mga contracts.
We are not only abundant in indigenous energy resources, we are also rich in policies on how to develop renewable energy. The next crucial step is making renewable energy more accessible to the community.
The policy is there, but yung mga implementing rules and regulations, wala pa. For example, meron tayong Green Energy Option Program. You can decide, if you are a business with like 100 kilowatt load, you can decide what would be the supply that will meet my requirement. You can choose, but that's not fully implemented. I think what we need is just for the DOE to fully implement the laws already. Everyone has to be made aware of the new situation. It's truly a transition kasi it's not just transition on the technology, transition on finance.
Ang problema lang sa mga plano, wala yung tools para ma-implement ng community sa kanang local government. Nasaan yung capacity building? Saan yung technology? Saan yung dapat sana may mga open source na technology na pwede magagamit kung makakapag-learn ng community sa local governments. Nasaan yung finance na napaka-importante. So yun yung dapat natin magiging accessible siya sa communities.
While the pandemic has affected our economies and way of life, it is an opportunity to come together in support of clean energy options that will benefit everyone.
Recovering from this pandemic must be geared towards a new and better normal. As we transition to the new normal, let's take this opportunity to also renew our commitment to create a more sustainable environment for the long-term survival of all life on this planet. We deserve it. Our children deserve it. The Philippines deserves it.